What's up, witches? Welcome back to another episode of the BetterWitch podcast, presented by the Modern Witch Network. I'm your host, Allie, aka BronxWitch. I'm a tarot reader, Reiki healer, and owner of BronxWitch HeadQuarters, a conjure shop and witchy workshare space in the Bronx, New York. And I'm going to be coming to you every week with a new topic and perhaps a guest co-host to share our real life experiences and some of the things we've learned along the way as practicing witches. Because when we know better, we witch better. Today's guest co-host is Nicole Benzo. Nicole is the owner of the Honey Jar and is a self-proclaimed rich witch. Nicole has been practicing her craft for over 20 years and is an eclectic spiritualist, herbalist, and root worker. Her passion is teaching others how to create their reality through intention and the law of attraction. You can find Nicole on Instagram at thehoneyjar.us and on her website, thehoneyjar.shop. The idea with Better Witches, we're helping witches get better at whatever it is that they're trying to do. So before we get into helping the witches who are listening at being better money witches, I was hoping you could share a little bit, because I know a lot about the story that you've shared in your lives and things like that. And for folks who may be new to you, can you share a little bit about the start of your life? Were you born? Were you born the rich witch with a golden wand spoon in your mouth?
No, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And I think I had a cord around my neck.
Wow.
So everything that you mentioned is valid. Everything that you mentioned was my reality. Everything that you mentioned is what I went through. Meaning, when I first went to church, when I was young, and that was my first, introduction to spirituality. Like most people, these things were imprinted in my mind. Money being the root of all evil, that you were going to receive your reward after life at some heaven, paradise place. It was admirable to struggle, the poor righteous teacher, and most importantly that you were supposed to be some type of martyr, like Jesus. You're supposed to be like giving it away because they don't have it, or they don't have as much access as you to your gifts, or whatever that case may be. I kind of started with that kind of mindset as well. And then my family didn't come from money. Actually, we were impoverished until now. Like, I'm the first person in my family who has been, that I know of. I can't speak to generations and generations.
Right.
But who has a connection with money the way that I do, and who's able to attract it and bring it forth the way that I am. And my mom, specifically, my mother was on heroin when I was little. We didn't have it. We didn't even have, I want to say, we were less than like middle class. Sometimes we didn't have electricity. Sometimes we would borrow an extension cord from the neighbor. We were boiling water for baths. Like, I'm talking about from the very, very bottom. I mean, I'm sure that there were people worse off than me. Right. But when I was coming up, I didn't see that. I saw my situation as dire. And I didn't know how to get out of it back then, nor did I know that it was a such thing to get out of. Like, I didn't even know there was, I don't know, it was a possibility. I saw shows and I saw people, but I didn't, it's just like,
it wasn't real.
No, right.
Yeah, and I felt the exact same way. I grew up here in the South Bronx. We're one of the poorest districts in all of the nation, or poorest counties in all of the nation. And that was just life to me. And I had these like glimpses of other things through TV and even through like family members that were more affluent than like my immediate family, and like occasionally seeing like what it was like to have a big house and a yard or these things like that. But they didn't feel real to me. They were just sort of like, oh, like when you win the lottery, or in make believe land you get rich, or if you're on TV and like being a little kid and seeing Little Orphan Annie, and like, oh, if somebody comes along and rescues you then you'll be rich, but like otherwise you live with us.
all of that.
Right.
And so even when I started practicing magic when I'm like 17, 18, I wasn't talking about no wealth, no prosperity. I don't even know. Some candles here and there, So, but my journey to prosperity, I think it started about 10 years ago. Okay. And I really started to be like more into the law of attraction, more into setting intention with everything. And it's like, okay, so it's possible, but is it possible for me? What do I have to do, and how do I have to change?
Yeah. So where were you at that 10-year place 10 years ago, and what was it that started to change your mindset? Because it sounds like you were already practicing, you were already starting to cast spells and things like that, but you hadn't yet started to turn that attention to like your financial stuff. So what was happening that made that change?
Well, I first started, that was about 10, maybe more, 12-ish, I don't know. But I had a company then. And at the time, my company was focused on herbal healing and things of that nature. And that was when I first started to see money. That was the first time I really started to see money. But I wasn't good with it. I was good at making it, but after that,
it was in and it was out.
Yeah, and not so much spending more than, well, I say I was growing and making it, but I gave it away. I gave a lot away. I gave more away than necessary. And I started to coach people. And I'm starting to tell these people these principles that I'm learning, and it started working for them. So people that I was working with were starting to get like 6 figures, and I'm making 20 grand a month. I'm making 15, and everybody was making money but me.
Right. So you start coaching people on how to make money, and it's paying off for them, but it's not really showing up in your own life. I definitely know that feeling, because when I started, like when BronxWitch became a thing, like I've been witching since I was 12, but when BronxWitch became a thing, that was in 2019. And I just kind of made myself available, and I was like, I'll do whatever you want. So people were coming to me for custom spell work, and so I don't do that now, because I realize all the time and energy and effort it takes to do that for folks, and I'd rather teach people how to do their own magic for themselves. But in the beginning, I was doing spell work, and the things that I was doing for them were like popping off with immediate results, and I was like, but I'm struggling to do these things for myself. And that's a weird place to be in, but I think that has to do with the mindset, because it's like, clearly the magic works because I'm able to help this person get this man, or get rid of this stalker, or get this tax bill lifted, or da-da-da-da-da. But then I can't put money in my own pocket with the same type of magic. So what is stopping me there? You mentioned the law of attraction. So is that a big part of like that turning point for you, learning that?
Yeah, that was a part of how I could tell other people how to do it. That wasn't a part of how I learned. It is a part of how I did it, but the way I did it was a little different.
Yeah.
What I had to find out about what I was doing with my work was I had to heal a deeper level within myself. Like, when it comes to your clients or your students, whoever see you, they believe in you. So I think that's what makes your magic for them pop so
Yeah.
well because they see you and they believe in you because
Right.
you're the BronxWitch, you're me, or whoever the person is that's
Right.
the magic for them. But when it comes to us, I feel, and plus, you're doing it for them, and like,
Right. So it's like
so
nice.
they like, I believe in you. You got
Yeah,
it.
I don't have to do nothing. Go do it. Make it for me. Now,
I
that is
believe.
such a good point. Like because the belief factor is so important to magic. Putting
Yeah,
yourself in that state where you already see it happening, where you know that what you're doing is working, that it's going to be effective, is so important to like sending all that energy in the right direction. And so if you don't believe in yourself, that's okay because you might believe in the witch that you commissioned to do the
yeah,
work for you. But if you're doing it for yourself, then who is there to believe in you? It's got to be you.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so what I was dealing with was not even that I didn't believe in myself. I believed in myself, but there was a deep underlying thing that I didn't think that I was worthy of this. I didn't think I was worthy of this, and that was back to my old programming of it's evil, it's bad, and like somehow they connected, and
Mm-hmm.
they made this little monster
Mm.
that made me feel like um maybe like I said I was able to get it, but I wasn't able to keep it.
Yeah.
I was able to get it, I was able to make some sales, do some and then some sessions,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't able to keep the money. And I'm like, that can't be right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This there has to be more to this. And so I started digging deeper. I said, okay, so start dealing with my chakras. And we talk about it all the time in my lives.
Right.
Getting on down to that root chakra, that base, your foundation, your stability, your identity, and how you identify yourself is so important
Mm-hmm.
because subconsciously, I'm a poor girl. I come from this. I come from that. I come from this, and that starts to interfere with what you're trying to create unless you change it.
Right.
Change the way you look at yourself. Change the way that you identify yourself and create a new identity. And that's what started to change.
Mm-hmm.
And not just with money, but just like I've been a people pleaser. Maybe that's not what I want to do anymore. Um, I didn't create boundaries in these spaces. I need to
Mm-hmm.
start creating boundaries in these spaces. Who is the new me? The new me doesn't fight with money. The new me attracts money easily.
That gets into like the heart of the law of attraction. So
Mm-hmm.
for folks who have not heard of it or don't really understand what it is, my understanding of it, well, I'll back up a little bit, I guess. You, like in your bio, you define yourself as an eclectic spiritualist. So you're not necessarily initiated in a particular tradition, and your practice doesn't necessarily come informed from a place of like dogma or things like that. And so I find that non-initiated witches or eclectic witches, we tend to lean more on universal law and universal principles, and things like the law of polarity and the law of attraction, and to kind of inform how the universe sort of works. So,
Mm-hmm.
saying that, to me, the law of attraction is a universal law, and it's basically the principle that like attracts like. And we
Mm-hmm.
see this with pretty much like all natural materials,
Mm-hmm.
a tendency to want to come together like on a cellular level. And so the idea behind this is that as a person, you can vibrate on a certain frequency, and by doing so you will then attract things that also vibrate on that
Mm-hmm.
frequency. So that's my understanding
Yeah,
of
that's
the
it.
law of attraction.
That's perfect.
Okay, all right. So that basically for me needs like a little bit of clarification when I hear that, especially as it relates to money, because it's like, okay, with like something like love, it's like, okay, I kind of get it. Like, I want to attract love, so I should be loving to others, and I should be loving to myself so that I exude love. Maybe that means loving on myself with some self care. Maybe that means loving others by doing kind things for people, finding ways to be charitable or caring for others. However that is that I want to express that. That kind of like makes sense to me. Law of attraction with money makes less sense to me because I'm like, okay, so you want me to vibrate like I have money? So what? I should go buy some furs? I should go buy a Louis? I can't pay my rent. Like, I'm impoverished. What do you mean live like I have money when I don't have a coin in the bag?
It's kind of crazy.
It is.
It's actually insane to the regular mind, right? How do I explain it? I think the basis of it starts with a feeling, right? Just like with love. Mm-hmm. And I think the feeling is the feeling good about yourself. So doing things now, and they say this all the time, the fake it till you make it thing. Mm-hmm. And it can be challenging. I'm not even going to say like it's the easiest thing. In fact, that's the kind of the whole spell of Rich Witch. Rich Witch, I wasn't a rich witch when I made it.
Right. Right. I was like, yeah, that's amazing. That right there is a testimony. It's like, I made this oil to make me rich, and that is what it's done.
Yeah, so I didn't have money when I made Rich Witch. I had the dollar store bottles and a download. And the download was really talking about what I told you what I was going through about money. And I was like, okay, this gotta be something else. Because this ain't right.
Right.
I do this work for others and I help others. But I'm not having it. We having the $8 chicken thighs because that's the big pack that can spread, across the family. And what's happening? And I went to Spirit, and I actually went on a fast. I went to Spirit, and I was like, look, y'all need to help me out.
Right. I can't do this by myself.
This ain't working.
Right.
And what I was told was, that's when I was downloaded, like, it's about your worth, what you feel that you deserve, what that you feel like you can have. But the only way that you can do that is you have to change it now, immediately, to attract it.
Right.
So, affirmation. I am rich. Money comes easily. Money. So some of the things that you hear, those things, it feels good. Anyway, maybe in the beginning it may feel a little strange, like I'm not that, but you are that, because all realities exist, and you just have to choose which one works for you, which one you want to work for you. Yeah. So you have to affirm it. You have to feel it. So you're feeling good. You're doing things that make you feel good, things that make you feel rich. You're just doing little things like getting your nails done. Because when you get your nails done, whatever that is for you, it makes you feel popping, which makes your energy a little stronger, which makes you more attractive to the things that you want. It's just putting on your makeup. And it's not necessarily that directly with money, but I feel good with what I have.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for what I have. I'm doing my best every day. I'm showing up like I'm going to work because I'm wealthy, because I'm a CEO, because I'm a business owner, whatever. You're starting to choose that. So then you're starting to say, what do those people do? Oh, these people are disciplined. These people do this. Okay, you start to change your disciplines. Okay, so you realize that, okay, so it's going to take a sacrifice. It's something that you're going to have to give up. Right. What are you willing to give up for your wealth and prosperity? Well, I'm willing to give up my ideas of lack and scarcity. This is what I'm offering. In exchange, my old life is going to cost me my new life. So you start to, over time, right? You're like, oh, yeah. Okay, so I can't afford everything. And you start to tell yourself that. And then what happens? Oh, I get another sale. or I get another reading. And now I can afford that thing that I wanted to afford. Then you start to believe it. But you had to start from, you had to say it before you believed
Right,
it.
right. Yeah, okay, so like, so I want to make sure everybody, because this is Better Witch and we are bettering ourselves. So I want to make sure
Yeah.
people have the breakdown, because what I just took from what you said is that first of all, we start with the feeling, and that doesn't cost any money. So if you
Yeah.
are struggling with money, you can absolutely start to manifest money starting with the feeling part,
Mm-hmm.
making your or allowing yourself to feel wealthy. And what does that mean for you? That might not take a lot of money. Like for me, building out HQ, I was here, in my sweats every day because we're painting walls and moving furniture and unpacking boxes and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then after we got open, I have no money because all this money has gone into opening the place and
Right.
no one knows we're here and we don't have sales yet. And so it's this panic moment and it's this very struggly moment and it's this, oh my God, I'm going to fail kind of moment. And I was coming here in those same sweats, in those same, shoes with holes in them, pants with holes in them, like stuff like that, because I'm like, well, I can't justify buying myself new clothes or anything like that, while I'm struggling to like keep this place afloat. Like I can't do any of those things. And I just made the decision that even though I wasn't going to buy new clothes, that I was going to stop wearing the stuff with the holes in it. And I
That's
was going to, I still have my old clothes from like my corporate life, like when I was like managing restaurants and I had a salary and stuff like that. And so I still have those clothes and I don't really necessarily want to wear them, but they are professional. They are dressed up. They are not riddled with holes. I have not been painting in them for weeks. So I just started to pull out some of my old
yeah.
like clothes and like get dressed before coming here. And I remember saying to myself like, I'm the owner. When people come here and they're
Your
like,
place
who are
is
you?
different.
What's this? Oh, I need to be like, I'm the owner. Or even better, I need it to be obvious that I'm the owner here. And that doesn't mean I
Yeah.
have to wear like a suit and a blazer and everything like that. But I need to get up at a certain time in the morning and get dressed and take myself seriously and carry myself the way that I want to be, even though I maybe am not there just
Yeah.
yet. And that did make a huge difference. And I'm making more changes like that, where I'm like, okay, I never thought I would be a entrepreneur. Like that word doesn't even when I say it, every time I get ready to say it, I'm like, on entrepreneur. Because I'm like, what? That was never the goal for me. I know some people go into work, even spiritual work, knowing from the jump, like, I'm doing this for a business. That wasn't the case with me. It's all kind of been just like happening. And, but I've had to tell myself, like, okay, well, but that's who you are. Like, what do entrepreneurs do? What do small business owners do? They maybe network. They might take money from the business and go to a conference and meet other people and all these things that I'm like not totally comfortable with. Can
Yeah.
I afford that? Should I invest money in that? I'm starting to shift my mentality and say, okay, it's not Alysha, poor inner city, South Bronx Alysha, that is making these decisions. This is entrepreneur, CEO, business owner, future
That's it.
me making these decisions. So rather than old me struggling for money, don't know where things are coming in, public assistance, like that person making the decisions, I'm trying to shift myself to have the person I want to be making decisions. What would the CEO do? What
Yes.
would the entrepreneur
I
do?
did. And that's the identity piece that I was telling you about. It's
Right.
the CEO, the boss, the owner.
Right. Right. What do they do? And that feeling, that's the start. That feeling of like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make whatever changes are necessary to feel that way. And then comes the question of now the actions. So we have the feeling first. I am going to treat myself as the person with money or the person with this amount of resources or whatever it is I'm trying to get to. And then the next step seems like you're saying is now the behavior. Now, what are the habits that I need to cultivate to not just get money going or feel like I am wealthy, but to actually start seeing returns and growth and maybe like, you know, sustained income and things like that. And that's where the discipline might come in, getting up at a certain time, creating a budget for yourself, perhaps sacrificing certain things that you like to enjoy for the moment, so that you can enjoy them later in the future, but cutting them out for now because they may be draining your resources and things like that.
They could be resources, or you could decide that you can afford anything. And that's where that mind thing comes in.
See, that's why you're here. See, that's why you're here. See that? Because I'm starting to already fall back into my old mentality of like, okay, you know, I have to go without in order to have. I have to be without some of my pleasures, my indulgences, etc., in order to have. But you telling me, no, I can keep my pleasures and still make it.
I'm telling you, the pleasures will help you have the money. And it's kind of like, I'm excited about this conversation because I think the way you ask questions is really good. So it challenges me to try to explain it. What I'm saying is leaning into those things that make you feel good, choosing those things, and using that to amplify your creations, using it to amplify your manifestation. Like, I'm gonna put on some nails. If I pop them on, or if I get the people to put them on, I'm gonna put on my nails. And when I put on my nails, I'm clickety clackety, and it's just something that happens.
Right, it's a transformation. You feel good. Yeah, ain't nothing like raggedy nails to make you feel broke. I'm gonna tell you that for sure. If you out there, man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. Look at your fingernails right now. If you feel broke, adjust them. Get your nails done.
It's something simple as changing your nails and getting your nails done, and you look down and you can see that your nails are done, and you afforded this. But as soon as you stop affording the nails, and you say, I'm gonna cut nails out of my budget, then you're gonna create situations where you can't afford nails. Because it's like a spiral. You're gonna start cutting back, and then you're gonna cut back some more, and then you're gonna cut back some more, and then you're like, dang, my eyebrows ragging now too.
Right. And that makes it harder for you to feel like, I'm rich, I've got it. I wake up, you know what I'm saying? Well, wealthy people wake up and, you know, eyebrows are on and hair is already done somehow. It's like they have that. But I see what you're saying there. It's like, rather than looking at it like, let me cut out my life pleasures, it's more of how do I afford these life pleasures? These are my pleasures. And so maybe my pleasure is I get my nails done, you know, every 6 weeks now. But I want to get to the point where I can do them every 2 weeks. Where I can have someone come to my house and do them for me. I don't have to go to the salon. I can travel with my nail person if I need them done. And if you know what I mean? Oh my God, that's a reality I've never even thought of for myself. But like, why not? Why not? You know, why couldn't that be my reality? And maybe if my mentality is more set on, I can afford everything and I want to afford more of it, rather than if I cut out all these things that make me feel good and only pay my bills and only give myself 3 square meals. And I'm actually going to be defeating the purpose of making money, at least making money, manifesting money. You might make a little by penny pinching like that, but it will probably just be what you need to get to the next thing.
Yeah, and then you're gonna just save money that way.
Right.
The thing about saving money is, no, I'm not a financial blah 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 person. Don't. Right. I'm just a practitioner, right?
Don't sue us for your choices, guys. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Is this?
Yeah.
But the thing about saving money, typically, and I'm not saying don't do it, please, is usually you're taking away from some money, something that you need now, and you're tucking it for some possibility in the future. So what happens usually is, okay, so I took out my lunch that I get on Tuesday, you know, instead of to make my lunch. Okay, you can make your lunch. There's nothing wrong with that. but also you're telling yourself what you can afford, right? And that you're holding onto this money for some other time, the money that you need right now.
Right.
So instead of focusing on personally saving money, I'm focusing on how do I attract more? How do I attract more than I can spend? So by default, if I don't spend all my money this month, I have money next month because I'm attracting more money than I can spend versus the idea of I'm taking this money, that the same amount that I get every week or month that I need, and taking something off my plate. And that's the thing. I think that's the biggest problem that we do is we take our luxuries away.
Right.
Why do I think that's horrible? Because when we take our luxuries away, all we have is work. So you're telling me I'm working all of these hours, 14, 30, 20, I don't know what hours people are working, and the work that I do doesn't afford me to get my feet soaked?
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's working?
Right.
We have to reprioritize ourselves. Because if I'm doing all this work and at the end of the day I can't get my hair braided, something's wrong.
Right. You're putting in all the effort and the energy, but there's no reward. And that's going to ultimately, in the long run, kind of be deflating and demoralizing. And it's going to take away that clarity of vision of like what could be. Because now you're just putting yourself more into this box of like, I have little, I have limited amounts. You know, I just have this, and I don't have like all these other things, travel, you know, items that I might want or whatever types of luxuries. There's something that you said, two things came to me when you were talking, or that like stood out from what you were saying. I'm gonna try to remember both of them. The first was about saving. I guess it's the same thing. So saving, you know, obviously is good and all of that stuff, but like you said, okay, if I get to the end of the month and I have a little bit left over, like even if it's just a little bit, you said, I make more than I can spend. That is a powerful statement and a way of looking at your finances that I've never thought about before. Because oftentimes I get to the end of the month and I have like a little bit left over. You know what I mean? And it's like a little bit. But it's a little bit. But it's a little bit. You know what I mean?
It will grow. And
it will grow. It's a little bit. But I've never looked at that little bit and said, I make more than I can spend. I've never looked at it that way. It's always been like, damn, I got to start over again for next month's expenses. This is all I have left over. But just changing how I look at that little bit and say, actually, that's excess. That's extra. That's abundance. I make more than I was able to spend this month. That totally flips that, however, a little bit amount of money or whatever, and makes it look like, ooh, that actually is not scarcity. This is like, I have more than I have. So that is a pretty cool, like, kind of mental shift that I just wanted to point out to people to make sure they walk away with that. Like if you are at a place where you have any amount of money more at the end of the month than you needed for your bills, even if it's not enough to pay the next bill or get you through the next month, that still means that you made more than you can spend, which is a very wealthy place to be in, a very wealthy mindset. So I wanted to pull that out and make sure people like embrace that. And then the other thing that you mentioned was about the savings thing. And that got me thinking about something you said earlier about the people around you and what they say. Because my husband, God has blessed him, is a wonderful saver. He's a very frugal person. And that has really benefited us in the long run. I can't even pretend like his saving has not saved the day and all of that. But we've had some kind of back and forths a little bit because he's all the way on the side of like the only way. He's shifting a little bit now, but for a long time, he's been all the way on the side of the only way to make any money is just to save, save, save. And anytime I would talk about anything money related, his first answer was, well, what can we cut out? We can do this less. We can do that less. We can to put away more. And I've always been like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, ew, no. Like, ew. Like, that feels poor as hell. Like, what you mean do this less? It's not like we out here wilding. Like, we live a regular ass life. You mean I need to take away a couple of our few Grubhubs a month? Like, I got to take away our one summer trip a year? Like, you know, in order for us to make it anywhere in this life, that just sounds, even if that's the truth, that just sounds like, ew. Like, no, I don't want to believe that. And I've been arguing with him that, like, I don't think that's true, especially when I look at people with wealth. A lot of times it wasn't that they were penny pinching. Yeah, they were responsible and they learned good money habits and they weren't crazy and things like that with the way with their spending. But at the same time, they spent. They spent when they needed to spend, whether it was on their business or on themselves. They invested in themselves and said, I will give myself things. And that seems to have worked out for a lot of people. So I'm like, listen, can we try it this way? No, I'm tired of saving and shit.
Real.
Shit's for the birds.
I love that word because that's the word that I love to replace saving with. Because you are investing. Mm-hmm. You're investing in your brand. You're investing in your building. You're investing in you, which is the most important thing to invest in. Meaning, if you're taking a trip and you're getting recharged and you're getting rejuvenated and you come back to work ready to go, that was an excellent investment.
Right.
Because all you have is you, especially when you're doing spiritual work, especially when you have a spiritual hub that, like, you have, like, dog, you making stuff and then reading people and then coaching. Listen.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You, like, when I talk to spirit and I was like, when I was talking about what I wanted, I was like, I'll do my work. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. I'll be in service of the people that I'm supposed to be in service. I was like, y'all gonna have to make it luxurious though.
Right.
Like, we have to have some, and like I said, luxury is defined by your own. What works for you? You, because it could be a pedicure. It could be the lady coming to do your nails at the headquarters. You know, so that you don't have to go and figure it. And they just come and do your stuff, and then you go home or whatever. It's like you have to define it for yourself.
Right.
But also, this is where we got back. It's abundance. There's more than enough money in the world. There's people right now waiting to buy from your shop that you don't even know. There are people that are talking about their experiences with your herbs that you don't even know. They're ready. They're waiting. So open yourself up and expect it to overflow. And don't freak out. The more that it overflows, you'll have more resources to be able to manage it. Like me, I want to do all of this. But give yourself permission to dream and let it go big and let yourself feel good in those spaces. Because the beautiful thing is about being an entrepreneur like you are, there is no cap on what you can make. There's no, like I said, 85 people can come in there today.
Well, not today because we closed. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 11 to 7. Saturdays, 11 to 5, okay?
So, on Saturday, right?
Don't come over here right now. I'm busy.
So, Saturday, 85 people can come in and buy everything that you have.
Right.
And then you have to create it again. But there's no limit like some other people that, like, okay, I'm make this many on this day, and that's it. I think it's time for a break.
there is a cap on what you can make when someone else is paying you, and there's a freedom and a opening up of possibilities when you are working for yourself. But it takes definitely that ultimate sense of investing in yourself, because let me tell you something, if you ever want to spend every dime you've ever owned or earned plus a bunch of other people's money too, open a business, because to get it going, you often have to not only go to zero but into the negative. You go into debt a lot of times opening up a business, and that's an investment that you make in yourself, because you have the belief and the faith that you will get that back, and you will make those returns for yourself or for whoever has invested. And so you do that, but it does take the willingness to invest in yourself that's different from traditional work, if that makes sense.
With that too, it happens all the time. The rich go into debt all the time. What happens is, though, or they lose money, however you want to phrase it, they don't lose their shit, because they know they're wealthy, they know that they're worthy, they know that it's coming back around. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
how many businesses have so many people had that maybe even gone bankrupt, who are millionaires or billionaires now? They take those risks, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
So that goes back to that identity, because business goes up and down, and that's just the way it is. Money goes up and down, things go up, life goes up and down, everything goes up and down. The only difference is the more you make when you're down is not low like it used to be. It's not 50 cents in your bank account.
Right.
And maybe it's $50.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 500. Maybe it's 5,000. Maybe it's 50,000. That might be your low. You don't know.
Right. Every time it goes down, it's less down as you keep going around. So it's like even if you're going to turn your life around and go from complete abject poverty to complete abundance, there's still going to be ups and downs on that path up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to be mindful that even though you are manifesting things, you're going to have these moments of where you maybe don't have high cash amount. Like you may have had to put a bunch of money into something. So I don't have a lot of, like me, I've put a bunch of money into HQ. I don't have a lot of liquid cash. But the other day I was walking through here, and some days when it's quiet, we don't have a lot of customers, it can be a little stressful, because I'm like, oh my God, y'all come in here, because we got to stay away, open for another month or whatever. But then I was walking around and I was like, oh my God, look how affluent I am. I have an office space. I have a physical location in New York City, of all places. This could be anything. So like if it's not popping with the way I have it now, like maybe I move things around and I do something different with it, but I have this space. So I have no cash money, and trust, I ain't got no cash money, don't ask. No cash money, but I've got tons of money in the form of space and opportunity and possibilities for what I could make here or grow here or sell here. So that was a big moment for me of realizing that I really didn't lose that money. I converted it, I transmuted it into something different that can make me more money, way more than just the dollar bills in my bank account could have.
Yeah. And do you have product right now in your store?
Yes.
You got money.
Yeah, I sure do. And I'm making more,
And that is, there you go. You have product, you got money.
Yeah.
You have an idea, you have money.
Yeah.
If you have access, you have money. If you have an opportunity, you have money. They come in different forms. You have it. It's already yours. It's already there. I'm so excited. I just can't wait to see.
I'm excited too. Speaking of investments, just bought some more inventory. I'm excited. Yes. We're going to have candles and crystals now, and books and tarot decks on the way.
Chain, you got money.
Right. Even though I'm like, but it's like, yeah, it's like.
Right?
What happened?
I made the Rich Witch.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't make the first batch. I made the Rich Witch. I got 2 checks in the mail, like 500, 700. Woo woo, excited, right?
Yeah.
I put the Rich Witch on Facebook. I was like, hey, I have this thing. Sold out the first day. And I put it, I said, well, I should make some more of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I made some more. And I did it a few more times. And I was like, you know what? This is something.
Right.
It was around tax season. So I used my tax return and I spent almost all of it, okay, on bottles and vessels for candles and wax and bath salt and essential oils.
You were like, I'm making a whole line ready.
And we're gonna do an open house here it was in Atlanta at the time. I had a big old space. Oh, we're gonna do an open house. We're gonna come in. I'm gonna do some readings. Somebody else is gonna do some readings. We're gonna sit here and talk about the herbs and the oils and we're gonna have a ball.
Yeah.
Pandemic happened. City was shut down like 4 days before.
Oh no.
I had all these products. All this, not just products, but inventory.
Right. Stuff you'd bought and made. Oh my gosh.
Yo, I was like, what the right? So I'm down now. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? I just spent everything I had. People are trying to sell toilet tissue on Amazon for $90. It's a pandemic. You should have used that money. This is me to myself. You should have used that money to stock up on food. You have these children. What are you doing? I was like, what is this? And then I was like, and my partner at the time, he said, you always make the right decisions. And I was like, you're right. I always make the right decisions. How am I going to turn this around? They love this. They love these products. They're going to buy them more now than ever. They're going to want to participate in this. These are going to make people feel good during this pandemic. These are going to help people to change my intention. First week was like maybe $400. Mm-hmm. And then I just started seeing money go from $400 to $1,000 to $2,000 to $6,000. And it just kept coming. But all I had was inventory. I had no bread. Right. And I had a pandemic. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
But you have inventory, you have products, you have resources. I'm saying it's not always tangible. Like I said, it's not always cash dollars. It's resources. Yeah. You have a plethora of offerings and services. You are rich already. Mm-hmm. Just trust that you are. Act like you are.
Right.
And watch it unfold for your face, in front of your face.
And just to give people like an idea of like how this can show up in their lives in terms of the transformation that can happen, the time frame from when you were rationing chicken thighs, for the family to now being able to pick up and move across the country with whatever level of comfort you want, stay in hotels and do all of that. What was the turnaround time for you?
From when I'll just put it like this. In 3 months, I made $100,000.
Hallelujah.
Okay. And that was the 3 months.
Okay.
And that was when I was like, what the I never made 6 figures. Right. I was like, woo. It was like, is this a dream? Is this a dream? And is this a dream? Is it a dream? It took maybe a year and a half to gross my first $1 million.
Right.
Not net, but gross. Yeah. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm blessed. Right. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful that I get to share. Because I was like, y'all, look. Yeah. Remember that time?
But that's really why I wanted to talk to you, because I was like, this isn't, you know, a lot of time. I'm 30. I'll be 36 in a couple of weeks, and you see, yes, Leo season. So you see folks. Sometimes for me, I see folks who are older and they're doing well financially, and it's like, okay, but like, how long did that take? You know, and not to be like, no, you know what? That's a mentality thing too. Because why do I think that it needs to take me a long time?
Mm-mm.
Like, why do I think that somehow that's morally the right way or whatever? Why can't I just wake up tomorrow and have $1 million? Like I could, you know? So like, why do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, why do I? There's a part of me that assumes that like, if I get money quickly, somehow. I don't know, like somehow it's not as legitimate or it's not as real.
I don't know if it's that quickly. Like, I'm just talking about from Rich Witch to 3 months. But I've been doing this work, right? Before then. I've been talking about this before then. So that part did feel quick. But it also felt like a graduation of the work that I have been doing before. And that I can get into the flow and get into the frequency and always come back here and tap in, whether if it's not the honey jar or if it's not Rich or any of those things, because, you know, things change, you know, over time. But I know that I can do it. I know that it's available to me and that I deserve it. And I'm 41 years old. And we can do this at 41. We can do this at 35. We can do this at any age. The most challenging part, the money comes quickly and easily and often. It's just our mind. I feel like that's the most challenging part.
Yeah.
The expectations, you're deserving. That's what needs the most. That's what takes the most time. Because the money is all around and it's waiting. It's. You like me? Yes. I like you a lot. You like me too? Come on in, money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But if we hate it, or we think it's a capitalism, it's a society, we're not gonna get no money if we hate it. It'll be going against our spirit. We won't be able to attract it in abundance. Right. Or if we say things like, all I need is to pay my bills. You just minimize it. You just shrink it down. But you can say, I want overflow. I like this. They always say that God doesn't give you more than you can handle. I said, God, give me more than I can handle when it comes to money. And the reason why I say that is because if I ask for more than I can handle, I know that I will be grown into being able to handle it. I'll be able to manage it. Yeah. I'll be able to. Otherwise, you're just scared. I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up. I'm scared I'm gonna lose it. I don't wanna do this. No, give me more than I can handle. Show me what that looks like so that I can grow into the woman who can handle it. Right. Let me see this 8 figures. Let me see it. Well, I want to talk to it. Let me see it.
It's like, oh, you don't think I can handle that? Well, how about test me? Let me try.
Okay. Me overflow, and I'm grateful for it. It's amazing. It's always there. It's always been there. It's just we have to learn how to tap into it for ourselves, and you have to let go of the old ideas. But not you just let them go. You got to replace them. Like even when I do my shampoo, it's like I'm releasing thoughts of lack and scarcity, inviting abundance, more access, resources, opportunity, favor, blessings, because it could just be, you know, a guy who wants to take this show and fund it for millions of dollars. Like we don't know where it's gonna come from. Right. We just have to be open to all the possibilities, unexpected, and that God's imagination is way bigger than ours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's too. You have all these gems that I keep wanting to pull out. So the first thing you mentioned about managing money, being able to manage what you get. I want to talk about that. a little bit in terms of like, I've seen memes and things out there that are like, if you can't manage $1,000, then you're not going to be able to manage $10,000. What is your philosophy on being like good at managing money? Is that a factor here? Because I've considered myself bad with money, I'll be honest, like over the years, because my mom always used to say, money burns a hole in your pocket, because when I get it, I spend it. And now I know that about myself. I'm working that to my benefit, because I'm like, I love to spend money. Therefore, I love making money. And I love having it, because spending it is so much fun for me. And I want to be able to have that fun and go shopping and do things and spend money on stuff or give it away. And so I'm embracing the fact that I like to spend money as like a good thing and trying to use it to my benefit. But at the same time, I do understand that like maybe managing money properly can help or is a part of the factor. Do you feel like that's a part of manifesting money, or is that not magical? Is that too mundane and like not necessary to manifesting money, being a good money manager?
Well, it depends. Everybody manages their money their own way. I think it's about how you feel about what you're doing, right? Because some people feel good about saving. They be like, I got this in the bank and the blah, 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 and make them feel good, right?
Right.
So if that's how they feel good, then that's how they feel good. But I like, personally, I like spending a lot of money and making a lot of money. Like, I like it when it's like, oh,
in and out.
Yeah, like I just spent $300 on this tour in Sedona, and then I just sold $300 in sales. It's like, oh, and it's like,
right.
That's how I like it.
I used to love that when I was bartending. When I was bartending, life was like that, and I've been trying to kind of get my mind back to that, even though I don't live that lifestyle anymore. But I would drop $300, $400 on something with no problem, because that is what I would sort of average in a night of tips. And so for me, it was just sort of like, okay, no problem. I'll just get it back tomorrow. I'll go in and work and get it back tomorrow. And so it was fun and stressful, and in a way it almost sort of felt like it was weird. It was like when I would spend and drop some money on something, my next shift would exactly cover that. Like it would be exactly what I needed, and it would be a day where I wasn't expecting it to be busy, and it would just be busy. And it'd be like, see?
So then you have money back, and then you have the thing that you spent it on. So now you have the thing.
So now I have both, and I have the money.
So for me, I think we say if you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $10,000. I disagree. I feel like if you can't manage $1,000, it's probably because you needed more in the first place, and you was trying to budget off a little $1,000, and it didn't cover everything. Because I was like, it's like we always get like. Usually, we're not taught about finances.
Right.
We're definitely not taught about manifesting as far as like money magic. Like we don't know these as concepts, but we get beat up all the time about not saving. What? Save what?
Right.
I don't know a lot of people, honestly, that have a lot to save. Right. And we get dogged out for not saving. But the language in the conversation isn't about us generating, attracting, and getting more, but we're getting dogged out about saving. Y'all don't save money. What was we supposed to save?
Right, exactly. I make $200 less than my bills. Like, what am I saving? How is that even like the goal? But that is always emphasized as like the ultimate goal. Manage your money properly. Don't spend much of it. Save as much as possible. Be really frugal. And that is kind of presented to us as the prerequisite for being wealthy. And I hear what you're saying is that like as you gain more wealth, you ask spirit for the tools to be able to spend it wisely, and maybe not so much manage your money so much as maybe you need to be a better budgeter. Maybe you need to have a better understanding of like what something's going to cost you, so that you don't say, oh, it's going to cost me $500. In reality, it's going to cost you $1,000. But that is maybe a little bit different than quote unquote managing.
Oh yeah, we definitely manage it. I mean, it's definitely budgeting, but it's just like to answer the question about if you can't manage 1,000, you're not gonna be able to manage 10. I don't agree with that. Maybe the fact that you can't manage 1,000 is because it
just wasn't enough.
Like we say that. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go. Yeah, I don't think that's my problem. I don't think I'm a bad money manager. I just don't be having enough for the things that I need. So if I had more than enough, I would probably have no problem whatsoever with I can count.
You would have excess.
Yes, I'd be like, yes, I know I need this, and that. Like, I'm not, hello, like, I can figure out that. I don't need to be a money whiz or like a Harvard Business School graduate to know that, like, if my life expenses are $2,000 and I only make $2,000, I'm going to have a hard time, making sure that there's enough left over at the end for other stuff or even for everything. So yeah, so I'm gonna say that where I saw that meme, I'm gonna comment and be like, maybe my problem's not managing $1,000. Is that $1,000 wasn't enough?
Well, we're gonna do it $1,000. So yeah, I feel like I'm way better at managing 10,000 than I am 1,000, because when I get $1,000, I'm like, well,
yes.
Gone.
I like that so much, because for all of the witches out there that feel like you are quote unquote bad with money, maybe that's not really the case. Maybe the fact of the matter is everybody is bad with money when you don't have enough. Okay, you're always gonna have not enough for this thing or that thing, or be in debt or have these things if you're just not making enough for the lifestyle that you want. So maybe stop telling yourself that you're bad with money or you don't know how to manage money, and say, no, I'm great with money. That's why I need more. When I have more, I'm going to do great things with it, and I'm going to always have enough for this bill, that bill, and I'm never going to have debt, or I'm not going to have. Yeah.
I mean, like during the week, you know how many people ask me for money during the week? Like I'm like some lady, a homie, somebody, and I'm like, okay. And my thing is, I don't lend if I can't afford it. Like, if I can't afford to lose it, then I won't lend it. So if I give you money, you could probably give it back, or maybe not. If we have that type of relationship where I'll give you money, but then I'm like, okay, you can keep it, because I know that when I needed to borrow money and I had to pay it back, it started the cycle all over again. And I'm like, dang, I still need that $1,000 or $100. No, you can have it. So there's that. My random giveaways, probably a discount, shipping, food, children expenses. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much I spend in a week.
Right.
It's a lot, relatively. Mm-hmm. But that's what it costs. And the more that you make, the more you spend. And if you're cool with that, you'll keep making more. And this is my philosophy. Like, this is what works for me. I'm not saying that it will work for everybody, but I know that when I change my mind in these ways, this stuff happens for me. Right. So that's what the place that I'm sharing from. And I've seen more money in my last 3 years than I've seen in my entire life. And probably like my whole family. So
right.
That's something.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's huge.
So thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, thank you so much. Will you please tell everybody where they can find you or what you have coming up next that they should tune into?
Please go to my website. It's thehoneyjar.shop. Spelled correctly, just like that.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes and all that good
stuff.
And
also, you can catch me on Instagram. That's where I usually do a lot of lives and stuff. I try to do at least once a week now, because I've been traveling a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's the Honey Jar. It's at thehoneyjar.us. I have a TikTok. It's the Honey Jar.
Well, that is great. We will definitely make sure to find you. I encourage all of you guys to check out Nicole, check out her shop, learn more about her life story, and take some pointers for sure, because you're definitely an inspiration and a really great living reminder to all of us that where you are right now today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. You can create something different, and it really can look like going from having really nothing to having everything, and it doesn't have to take a long time, which was great. I loved that it may have popped off in like 3 months for you, but the mindset work was done first. But once that happened, it just flowed. So,
Yeah.
Doing these types of things to adjust your mindset really can get things flowing, and you're a living example of that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love you so much.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it was so great having you. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this episode of the BetterWitch podcast. Remember, when we know better, we witch better.
Yeah.
Thank you, witches, for tuning in to another episode of the BetterWitch podcast presented by the Modern Witch Network. New episodes air every week. You can watch the video broadcast on YouTube every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, or listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform every Thursday. And if you're a BronxWitch Coven member, join us right after each YouTube broadcast for a live Q&A about the episode. Whether you're watching on YouTube or tuning in on your favorite podcast platform, we want to know your thoughts on today's episode. So please make sure to leave reviews and drop comments wherever you are. You can show support for this podcast by grabbing some sweet merch over on the BronxWitch YouTube channel, and join the BronxWitch Coven for behind-the-scenes footage from today's episode and the details on how to join in on those live Q&As. See you next week, and blessed be.